everybody. Welcome to the Age of Quarantine. I'm David Castillo from Saint Vitus. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody had a glorious weekend. It was beautiful weather on the East Coast. We were chilling out. The election wrapped up. Joe Biden won. Fuck, that was a long week. And today we have a very awesome guest. He's from the band Narrowhead, but also he's in Scourge and Sex Pill. His name is Jacob Duarte. He's a great fucking songwriter. I love the new record that they just put out, 12th House Rock. Shout out to Colombia. And yeah, so we're just waiting on Jacob to join us. Really love everything that, he's been involved in, hailing from the city of Houston. Just has a really overall super, super cool aesthetic and vibe, and that record is just absolutely beautiful. So here's Narrowhead right now. Here's Jacob. Let's get him on the show. To everybody, we got a little bit of KCBC on deck. Why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
Hey.
Jacob, hey. How's it going, man?
Good. I'm just chilling outside in my backyard.
You're doing the backyard thing. That's cool. Yeah. I like the look.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do the backyard thing. Well, welcome to the Age of Quarantine, Jacob. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. You put out one of my favorite records this year so far, so that's pretty cool to get to talk to you today.
Sick. Thanks, man. Yeah. So I'm here. I'm down.
Yeah, totally, for sure. So, in the show, basically,
sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, find the spot. Get comfortable. We're gonna be here for a little bit. There it is. There it is. We good. So, here at Age of Quarantine, we just kind of go through people's lives in music, So, you're from Houston originally, yeah?
Yep.
Born and raised in
Houston. Born and raised here, yeah. I've never left. I mean, I've left, but you know what I mean? I've never lived anywhere else.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I was born and raised on Long Island, and I'm in Jersey, and I lived in Brooklyn. I mean, I'm a 2-hour radius existence. So I definitely know what that's like. What was it like kind of growing up, and just what were some of the earliest sort of memories that you had of music? Was anybody in your family kind of musical or anything else like that, or were you?
Yeah. Actually, my dad and my uncle used to play in a band from Houston called the Tie That Binds. And they were like a 90s emo band, like bands like Sam I Am or Stallbreaker, stuff like that.
So, oh, shit.
So I kind of already grew up with a little head start of liking music like that, because that's just what I knew, Like, there was a band, like, my dad had, like, a Seaweed tape, and it was just that era of music is what I came up on, and then, being like 6 or 7 years old, I liked Blink-182 and stuff. So, but
yeah, that's crazy. So how old is your pops? I'm thinking he's like in his late 40s or something like that.
Like barely. He's 46, I think. So.
Damn, he's only 9 years. He's only 9 years older than I am.
Yeah, they had me when they were like 20. So
Yeah, so head start on having kids. But so he was in a band called Tie That Binds. What did your dad play in the band?
So it originally started with my dad's brother, who's younger, and he was in the band first. He played guitar, and then their drummer had to leave because of some family stuff. So then my dad joined and played drums. So,
okay. So Pops is a drummer.
Yeah. He's a really good drummer too, actually.
That's sick, man. That's super cool. So is it sort of safe to say that your family was pretty encouraging in terms of like, hey, play music, here's instruments at a young age and stuff like that?
Yeah, they've all been really supportive since I was a kid, They just knew that I liked to do this stuff. And it's just always been around. It's never been like a weird thing. Like, everyone in my family's like been in a band at some point or done something like that.
That's really cool. So it was just kind of there and available for you to sort of
it always seemed pretty. Yeah, it seemed pretty normal and easily accessible to me.
That's pretty amazing because you kind of knew it from the inside out. Like my parents like play in a band, and they know what that's like. For other people that we've talked to on the show, myself included, being in a band was like something rock stars did. and then like
Yeah.
Punk told me otherwise, you know. But for you, you kind of had that feeling at an early age. Was guitar your first instrument?
The first instrument that I knew how to play, actually, like I thought I was gonna play drums first because that's what my dad did. But my parents were like split up, so my mom had like a tiny house. There was no way I was getting a drum set, you know. So I just went with guitar, second best thing.
Yeah, hey, cool. I mean, and it's funny how like those little things kind of shape who you are, you know,
Totally.
like Brian from Russian Circles, he was just like, I went to the guitar shop and I saw a bass. I thought it looked cool. I was young. I was like,
Yeah.
that's how I started playing bass, you know, like just
Yeah.
these little decisions that kind of don't mean, they don't feel like they mean much, but they actually kind of shape,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
who you are, right?
Well, I mean, like I always wanted to be in a band at some point, even before I had a knowledge of music. So I knew it was either going to be bass, guitar, drums. So I just kind of got the first one that was like around, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So starting to play music at a really early age around the Houston area, and having like a dad who's kind of obviously like part of the scene and like or a scene of music down there and stuff. What was it like to kind of discover music sort of like for yourself? Like, was there like you know, like the earliest shows? When did you start kind of coming up with like your own tastes?
You know, maybe like middle school, 13, 14 years old, you know. Well, I mean, like, you know, I've always had my own taste. Like, I always liked, like, Blink-182 and shit like that. But I guess I really started getting into my zone in, like, high school. Like, when I started writing music, like, it was actually more structured, I guess. Yeah, no, I just, like, at an early age, pretty much, like, as a teenager. Like,
Totally.
I'd write songs as, like, a middle school, 12 and 13 years old, but they were bad pop punk something, you know. But
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
figured out like songwriting at least, like how to structure things or something like that.
and I think that should, I mean, there's always a progression, right? No one just comes out like fully fucking formed, you know. Like there's always that sort of thing. What was the earliest like shows and stuff that you kind of went to? Was it more like punk and hardcore? Because obviously you're part of punk and hardcore bands like Scourge and Sex Pill and stuff like that. Was that mostly the kind of music that you were kind of getting into in the Houston area?
Sort of, because like, all right, so Houston is very like diverse with the music scenes at least. So my dad's band would always play the hardcore shows. They were like the punk or like the emo band on the hardcore gigs, you know. So my first sight into hardcore was the Tie That Binds played a show at Gerald's. It's a venue here that's not here anymore. Um, and the band Will to Live opened up, and it was like the first time I had seen hardcore. That kind of blew my mind. Like I'd never seen like a spin kick or people stage diving and stuff, you know. So that was kind of my first thing into heavy music, where I was like, oh, okay, I actually like this more, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is
13 or 14, yeah.
totally. So I mean that I mean for me it's the same thing. I was just like, holy shit, I didn't know people acted this way when music happened. You know, like the first hardcore, I was like, what in the world is going on here? Like Vision to Disorder is playing or something, you know, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is insane. But I was immediately attracted to the energy of it and knew I wanted to be part of it, right?
Yeah, I was just talking to that. I was talking about that with someone the other day about like the first time I saw Trapped Under Ice or something. They really just blew my mind, and my life was changed after that.
And Texas has, you know, great hardcore bands, man. You got Bitter End out there, Iron Age, Power Trip, and like just a ton of fucking amazing bands too. So I feel like that scene is always produced talent.
Totally. I mean, like, I didn't even talk about Power Trip or Iron Age, but I can go on for hours about that. But really, just like those bands were my upcoming. They were always the inspiring Texas bands, you know. Like Power Trip, I've been seeing them since like 2009, and they just like exceeded all my expectations. But I always knew that they were gonna be like the biggest shit, you know, from Texas, and they always came through. And yeah, just,
Yeah,
being around the Texas scene like that, it's always been like I do like hardcore and heavier stuff, but it's a pretty diverse place here with musically. I mean, you know.
totally, absolutely. I mean, I don't know Houston well. I went there for the first time because my homie Ralph got married to a Houstonian named
Yeah.
Sadie, and I really enjoyed the energy of the city. I thought it was really great, and it felt like I could spend a lot of time there and get into a lot of different things. I read in an interview that you said that sometimes you feel like Houston, as far as Texas overall, gets a little bit overlooked. Like maybe people like myself from New York and stuff, we always look at Austin or stuff like that. Are any Houston bands that you really like right now that are like really inspiring to you, or anything in the past that you want to kind of share with us?
I mean, I'll be honest with you right now. This city is a wasteland of music and art. I feel like a lot of the substance is being taken away because there's nothing really going on, and people are just going to bars. There's no real there's no real like music right now. So I mean, sucks to say, but I don't know any music bands coming out. And I hate that I even have to say that. You know.
But you know what? I appreciate the candor and the truth and the answer, right? Because you can't.
It's stuck.
You
Like
can't
it's really bumming me out, honestly, that what music scene we had seemed to have dissolved because of the quarantine thing, and it has dissolved away. And hopefully, people are making music on their own, and I'm just not seeing it, you know. But it kind of feels dead.
Sure. And in a lot of ways, I think that that's just how we all feel at the moment. And who knows what will happen when everyone can kind of, leave the house and see one another once again, Who knows what people have been working on behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really know the answer to that at all either,
Yeah,
I hope so.
But like in the past, there's good Houston bands here. There's like Secret Prostitutes, it's back to back. I'm going blank right now, but
yeah, no, that's cool, man.
also I play in like 7 of them, so I can't just like name those.
Yeah, you can't just be like, well, I like Scourge, and I think Sex Pill's pretty cool. Like, you can't, go down the line. So, as far as kind of the progression of you in music, as far as I know about 3 bands that you're in, and maybe I don't know like all of them, but what sort of started first? It seems like Narrowhead's been around since what, like 2013, 2014?
Yeah. So okay, story time, I guess.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I was in another band in 2013 called Chemistry, and that was really my first real band. It was like an emo band, like the same shit I've been doing, like hot water music or something. And then I met some kids in Dallas, and we became friends, and we did this demo in 2013. So technically, Narrowhead was first, and then I started Dress Code, and then Scourge. So yeah, it was basically Narrowhead first, and then Scourge was the next year, and then all the other hardcore bands that I was in and out of were in between that timeline of 2014 and now.
That's really interesting.
It's weird that Narrowhead's the first one, I guess. Like that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like generally, people kind of start playing in hardcore bands and punk bands, and then they kind of spread their wings out into kind of other kinds of music and things of that nature. But Narrowhead for you is actually first, which is more like this rock band. Were you always singing in Narrowhead, like straight away? Were you always put in that position?
I was the second singer. It was like two of us at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, there was no lead guy yet. I mean, I wrote a lot of the songs and I sang a lot of them, but I didn't expect to be the front guy yet. That just kind of happened on accident. Like, or not,
Got it.
it just kind of fell into place like that. But I mean, to be honest, my whole life, I've always wanted to like sing in a band or play in a rock band. So that was always first to me, just being in a rock band or something.
When you formed the band, how did it kind of come together to get all the different people in place? Are they just like your friends from around the way? Were you guys going to shows together? How did it
Yeah.
kind of?
It was a weird scene in Texas, but it was sick though. It was like Dallas and Houston would have shows a lot, so I would go to Dallas a lot and meet some kids, and they'd come to Houston, and there was a little scene going around the whole state. And me and two dudes from Dallas, started the band. It was just an idea. We've always had the same band idea, but we just knew that we liked Deftones and like Helmet. So that just came together like slowly. And then our other singer slash guitar player, he had like real life stuff going down. Like he had a kid and his father passed away and stuff. So he was dealing with serious stuff. So he had to like step back from the band, and it was just me and Carson at the time, still trying to be in the band, but trying to figure out if we're gonna last or if we're gonna get like a new bass player or something. So we went through a lot of member changes through the years. But yeah, it started off with this crossover Dallas Houston thing.
That's cool. So that's kind of just that sort of interchange. I mean, in Jersey and New York and Jersey, Long Island, there's a lot of different people who've traded band members kind of across the way, and it's all kind of one big thing,
Yeah.
So
even though Dallas is like 4 hours away, it's not as fun as going an hour to New Jersey or something,
Yeah, I guess so. I forget how big Texas is and just the proximity of stuff, I'm not from there. So so basically from what I understand, I mean, so there was some kind of early kind of lineup changes and stuff like that, but by the time when I first heard Narrowhead and stuff, it was really Superstition kind of era when I first heard it. And I had a friend who was just like, yo, I think you'll love this, man. It's like Quicksand and Helmet and like grunge. This is right up your alley, which that's from where we are, that is the post-hardcore sound is that stuff, right? And I really liked it right away. And by that point the lineup seemed like pretty solidified, and you'd put out a couple of demo tapes and then started kind of like an EP, working your way up to that. What was it like, just kind of putting that record together? Because to me that's the one that really started, putting you guys on the map a little bit.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about Satisfaction?
Satisfaction. Sorry,
yeah.
I said Superstition. But...
Yeah. Satisfaction. It was a lot of those songs I had already written with the old members, and then right about the time we got to recording it, they were kind of older. There was like half old songs and half new-ish songs, and I don't know that we recorded that over the weekend, and it cost a lot of money, so we tried to do it really fast. And I don't know, I like the record, but I think there's a lot of stuff I should have done, and a lot of things I shouldn't have done, or something.
I see. So
it was very fast though. Like it kind of, I didn't get to put the time into it like I thought I could have.
Mm-hmm. Was there any reason? What were the circumstances that led it to be that sort of thing? You said the studio was kind of expensive. Did you guys not? Were you able to kind of take your time in pre-production to trying to get stuff right, or was things just kind of messy?
Yeah. So basically, we were all 19 or 20. And had jobs, but we were like kids, like you couldn't spend $1,000 on a record time, So I don't know. We just didn't have any funding or anything, so we paid for it ourselves. And it was kind of just like we practiced two weekends in a row, and then we were like, all right, let's go to the studio. It was just kind of trying to get it out there already, and the member changes, it was just kind of rough, just me and Carson were the only ones that were super on board,
Yeah. And so did you feel like you were kind of dragging the other dudes along and it was just kind of messy, like not everyone was rowing in the right direction?
Kind of, yeah. It was pretty much that, but no shade or anything. Like everything gets cool. I just think I was the main one really trying to keep this band going, because like I'd spend a lot of time and money driving to Dallas, and You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like just break up the band after all that time that we wasted. Like, fuck that. So
Yeah, fuck that.
so I don't know. I just really feel like I was kind of dragging some people along, but luckily, me and our drummer have been on it since day one. So it's really easy to stay motivated when I have someone else excited with me too. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you just need that core, like anchor, like other person that you can always bounce ideas off of,
Yeah.
you know, be able to play with. I feel like a lot of times it really can be like a drummer and a main songwriter really hashing out a lot of ideas and, you know, in the practice space.
That's kind of the structure of the band. A little different now. Like, we all jam together and we write songs, but it kind of always starts with me and Carson.
Got it. That, which is really cool. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
skeleton.
like there's so many bands like that. Like Dillinger Escape Plan was a lot like that. That was Billy and Ben jamming everything before bringing in a lot of the other guys. You know, everyone sort of has a structure. Was that like that all the time, or did it just kind of develop that way because you said the other members are a little bit all over the place at that time before you got this new lineup more intact?
It developed, but as soon as Carson joined the band, it was kind of always like that. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. So like the chemistry was just, it was right.
Yeah,
just like kind of.
It's funny because he played in my first band called Chemistry too, so it just made. That's just how it happened.
There you go, man. It was in the name. It was in the stars.
Chemistry was already there.
For sure. And when you're for 12 House Rock, you're like the producer of like a couple of your records, like joined the band at a certain point, right?
Yeah. It's just the producer of that album.
Just the producer of that record. I wasn't sure if it was.
So basically, like, me and Carson and our guitar player Will, we were the three-piece Narrowhead, and we had these songs, and we were just gonna record the album with our bass player. Up before that, he joined, and then throughout us studio time recording, we had some shows, and he was down to be in the band after he filled in, so it kind of just fit together pretty easily.
That's pretty cool because you guys have like after Satisfaction, you put out like a song here.
Yeah, we had like a couple EPs or something, like 2 EPs and like a tape. Or
yeah, I wasn't sure. Like that's what I was wondering. I wasn't sure if it was like maybe in that transitional time. No. Why did you put out those 2 like little like kind of in between sort of things? One was like a 2-song. Is that always something that you like to do? Just maybe in between these bigger records, like throw a little something out there to keep the fire going?
Well, yeah, that wasn't really on purpose. I think what the deal was like after Satisfaction, we still had these songs, but didn't have any exposure. Like no one was gonna sign us or anything. So they were just excuses to go on tour and keep it going. You know what I mean? Like put out a tape and be like, okay, let's go on tour with this, or we put out an EP, let's go on tour. But now, I think we might do that again. I think because like we already have a bunch of new songs for a new record right now. So maybe we can drop a little EP or something new just to keep the ball going. But it all.
So you've been busy during COVID, huh? You've been.
I mean, yeah.
Still
like, there's nothing else for us to do, so me and Carson and everyone just go to the space and write music, you know.
Well, that's definitely beneficial for us as fans and stuff to know that there'll be some cool music coming out for us.
If I had it my way, dude. If I had it my way, I would love to have a new record by next summer. That sounds kind of soon, but that would be sick, you know. I don't know.
I mean,
it's possible. Yeah, I guess we are in control of it, really.
Yeah, totally. In order to do that. So as you were saying, like in this sort of earlier part of Narrowhead, you know, Satisfaction comes out and I'm like, I was with it. I was like, oh, this band's cool, man. Like they're doing like post-hardcore shit kind of the way that I tend to like it, being from where I am in the world and stuff. Yeah. You know, I'm a huge Quicksand and Helmet and, you know, like Still Suit and Die 116 fan, like stuff like that. And then you had like the grunge and the, you know, kind of Smashing Pumpkins-esque vibe. It was really good. and you did that, a lot of that stuff on your own and stuff. When did kind of like Run for Cover and stuff like that start kind of coming into play, so you guys could kind of get 12th House Rock together and stuff like that? Because it's
Not
obvious
till,
that
yeah, like not till January, you know. Like we had this record recorded. We finished it at the end of 2018 or at the beginning of 2019. So we kind of just sat on it for a year, and no one was biting. Like no one cared. After like a lot of the people we shopped it out to, no one really was trying to pick it up. So we just kept going on tour. Anyways, like we get ever, you know. And then Run for Cover came in the picture like this year after that Fury tour, after we already had the record like done and everything.
And that's sort of how it went. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a longer process. And so let me ask you about the recording of 12th House Rock, because now you do, like you didn't add the member sort of before you did that, the producer member, but what was it like getting this together, and what did you learn from the last time? You said it was like really kind of rushed, and you had maybe some members were a little bit all over the place and stuff. What was it like making 12th House Rock? And I feel like it's a really nice step for the band, and really the sound of everything, I think, opened up in this really cool way.
Yeah, this one was a really good process, I would say. Like we got to do whatever, like as long as we needed. I got to like do hard tracks for 10 hours a day, we had access to a studio, like a really nice studio from Houston, and we had access to it and just had as much time as we needed. And we did it like sometimes 2 days in a row. We did it over the span of a summer and like a couple months, because we only did it when the studio had time, like free time. So,
one of those.
So it was very spaced out. So every other week, we'd go in there and do something, But that was good because I got to sit on ideas, and I got to, I got to actually think about what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because one thing, and I've done this before when I've made records. I've been in a couple bands, Primitive Weapons with Chris, who also hosts the show, and Artie, who hosts the show too. And I remember, kind of recording records all at once, but as I was a singer of the band, I really liked not having everything really mapped out and be able to go back and like actually listen to like the really like freshly recorded mixes, think about things, change some things around, come back with new ideas, do things like that. It seems like you enjoy the process of just kind of like, let me lay some stuff down, then let me pull back and sort of see how it's all kind of coming together, and then kind of come back with new energy. Is that kind of like a new way for you to work that you thought really worked out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it wasn't intentional. It was just like the way that we had it, but I like the way it came out. I think at some point it started dragging though, and we just kind of like took so long to like get it finished and mixed. Like we kept ideas and changing mixes, and eventually it just felt like purgatory or something. It just wasn't going anywhere. But I do like the process, and I think what I really need to be in a good recording space is to be able to sleep there and live there, and just wake up and do my thing and go. That's the idea.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe getting out of town. Sometimes can be really good for that. Yeah, I made a record or two in New Hampshire, far away from like business and family and everything else like that, and just everything was music, and it was a really good experience.
Yeah.
For sure. So we had a question in the comments talking a little bit about Sonic Youth and songwriting influence and stuff. And since you are the main songwriter of the band, who are a couple of songwriters that you feel like have really influenced you and your work lately?
I don't know, man. Like, I like Neil Young. He's a good songwriter. Joe Walsh is a good guitar player. I wouldn't say he's like a songwriter guy, but I don't know. Like, Elliott Smith is a good songwriter. I don't know. I don't know about things that directly inspire me, but like I don't sound like those people that I just named, but their writing and the way and their approach to music is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that that's really like the key. Like, it doesn't have to be some like one-to-one
Yeah,
sort of thing with whatever it is that you're making. You know, like
yeah,
I listen to a lot of music that I don't necessarily make, and I just kind of love what people do. Like, I
yeah.
don't make hip hop, and I listen to Freddie Gibbs all the time, and I
Well,
just love his approach.
I think another songwriter is like Greg Sage. I really like from the Vipers. He goes hard.
Brilliant.
Um,
Definitely goes hard.
fucking. I'm trying to think of someone right now. I think Alex G is sick. I like the way Alex G approaches music too. He's very
That's
cool. I don't know.
that's great.
I try to just like everyone that influences me and then shove it through my own little filter and then have it come out the way it would sound if I pitched it. Yeah.
For sure. I think on 12th House Rock, it's pretty interesting, kind of sonically, how the band has sort of grown a little bit too, in terms of just kind of influence and songwriting. I mean, I think the first song, your song, just coming out the gate, had a really kind of different, more epic kind of tone to it than the stuff that was on Satisfaction. And even some of the things that you were doing with your voice and things of that nature were what were, like, you know, some of the things that you were trying to explore in 12th House Rock that you were kind of maybe reaching for that you felt maybe in Satisfaction you weren't satisfied with?
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, I don't know. That's a weird one to answer. Like I thought Satisfaction wasn't epic enough and didn't tell a story of what we sounded like or something. I don't know. Both House Rock is a little more like particular. I was like going through to like find the right sequencing and, you know, the whole vibe of the record or something.
Yeah, no, that's totally that. I mean,
It was like with Satisfaction, I kind of just put this song here, this song there, in whatever order. And I guess with this, we kind of like thought about it more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can feel it.
Yeah,
I think you can feel like the sequencing is really cool to me. Like, I feel like I'm in for a ride.
Yeah, no, that was the goal for this one, and I'm glad we got that across.
Yeah, where I felt like Satisfaction, it felt like a collection of songs, which would be really cool, you know?
Yeah.
12th House Rock, to me, feels a little bit more like there's an arc to it. Like,
yeah, it feels like an album, like a real album, is what I think. And to me, like, I see that as our first record, like our first real record, you know? Satisfaction is a good demonstration of us. It is considered a full length, but I think this one is the real full length to me.
Got it. So, like, this one just to you feels like you're starting to achieve maybe some of the things that were in your head.
Yeah.
That you're like, exactly. Okay, like I'm getting to a better place of like what I hoped this band would be when I started it.
Yeah, exactly.
What were the choices? I really like kind of some of the effects that you were using, like on your voice on some of the songs. Some of the more kind of like, I don't know if that's phaser, kind of warbly, kind of.
I think it's a stereo.
Yeah, that was really. I love how you kind of use that at certain points, and then you kind of pull it back and like the layering on that. What were the choices around that in the studio and stuff? Because it's like it's pretty distinct.
Yeah. So to me, for Narrowhead, I've always wanted stereo chorus on the vocals, and I wanted it to be spacey and not very in the mix. So me and Ryan, our bass player, were kind of fighting back and forth on. He felt the vocals should be a little more present and stuff, and he finally convinced me to be like, all right, I'm down to like not have the chorus on the entire time and just do it tastefully every now and then and there, you know what I mean? But like,
I think you guys made the right call.
Yeah.
Because
at least for me, I think so too. I was definitely kind of bummed and like concerned. I was like, oh, my singing sounds too loud. I was getting kind of weird about it, but it is what it is. It sounds cool.
Totally. I think that that's just also part of the growing pains of like growing into yourself as like a singer in a band too is just like allowing yourself to be yourself. And sometimes you need to like have a friend or a producer or somebody be like, dude, just cut it out, you sound fucking great, let's just do
Yeah.
it, you know?
No, it's just when we play live, I tell them to go psycho with we get the stereo chorus effect because it just adds to the vibe and makes it spacey.
Yeah, totally. And I think it when it kind of gets turned on, it can kind of create these sort of like awesome sort of vibrato crescendos too, that
Yeah.
when you kind of
Oh yeah.
let those things kind of go, it's like really beautiful and like adds so much. So I was just curious because I like when you turn it off too, because then it all of a sudden makes you pay attention to that, and you're like making choices.
That was all the call of our producer slash bass player, which I'm glad he got me out of that shell.
Sure. And adding him to the band, you know, I read too, like, you know, I mean, I think if you add a producer, I mean, you know, you said that you're like really kind of songwriting forward and first, and then he was like helping you guys just really tighten everything up.
Yeah, I mean,
like sonically, right?
Yeah, like the song structures and everything were already done. He just tuned this up. You know what I mean? He sonically mixed it very well and did his thing on it. Which so it came together in a good way.
Totally, it's really absolutely. I mean, it sounds fucking cool, and like I really just kind of love the interplay there, and you know, it just kind of really, you know, bounces sort of up. We have a question in the comments that's actually pretty cool. It's just talking about like guitar playing and your rig and stuff like that. Is there anything that you like to particularly use? Any sort of guitar or anything else that you like really kind of felt inspired with?
I haven't changed up since we started. I just play a Music Man HD 150. I think it's like a vintage amp. I think it's vintage. I don't know. It was like, I think it's like a 60s amp or something. It's pretty cool, but I just use my DS1 and my Big Muff for my tone, really. It's pretty simple. It's all
Keep
about,
it simple.
it's all about your flavor and how you do it, you know. Like you're not gonna find a pedal that just makes it sound sick. You just gotta figure it out.
It's in your hands, man.
Yeah. I normally play an SG. I have a Jackson like metal-ass guitar that I'm getting set up to be a little more tame and not just like distortion crazy, but pretty simple. Just have an SG.
Totally, for sure. I want to switch gears a little bit from Narrowhead and ask you about some of the hardcore and punk bands that you know you still got going on, because you know we got to talk about it. What Scourge is just like a nasty fucking band, dude. Can you tell me a little bit about Scourge and just kind of what do you know what's sort of been going on with it, and how you know what's the process there? Because I feel like it just kind of puts stuff out whenever, and it's just mean as fuck.
Yeah, Scourge riffs are just that. It's all me. I write all the riffs pretty much. It's just, I just like Marauder, New York bands like that. You know, like the death metal esque hardcore. And I don't know, like Scourge has always been a band hard to get together because our singer lives like in Fort Worth, and then we're all here and we all are doing our own things. I'm in other bands, so it's kind of like when we can and when we have songs, we'll drop something, you know. There's
like a project band, like when it kind of can come together.
And if there's a cool tour or if there's like a good show, I'm down, or a cool fest, you know. It's that type of band, you know.
For sure.
I don't think Scourge will be a band that like tours like Narrowhead does, you know. But we will go on tour if it's an option, if the option's there or something, or if it's cool. But there's no real structure to it.
Because I mean, it bangs. I'm like, whoa, this sounds like All Out War, and like,
like, love that shit.
You know, I'm like, this is fucking hard as fuck.
At Saint Vitus in January.
Mm-hmm.
Sick. That show was cool. I had fun.
Fuck it. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like stuff like that. And Narrowhead's played before too, and obviously we can't wait to have you guys on this record. You know.
I know. I can't wait either.
whenever the time is right, of course we'll have you, and that'll be
I
great.
think the first time I played Saint Vitus was with Iron Age last summer, actually.
Yeah.
I played with them. I got to do that. It was one of their last shows, so that was a pretty good experience for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. How did you feel? Like, I mean, that's kind of, to me, RNH are kind of the.
Someone in the comments asking my best, most memorable show, and it's probably that one, the Iron Age Saint Vitus show.
I was at both sets, the Saturday and the Sunday, and yeah, it was incredible. I've seen Iron Age in Texas, in New York, in New Jersey, all over the place, and it just must be so cool and an honor to play with people that literally shaped you as a musician too. For them to be like, yeah, come play with us.
I think I've had this exact conversation with someone like I looked up to all those guys. You know what I mean? So the fact that they like felt I was cool or good enough to be in their band for a second, like that's all the like honor I needed, really. You know, good.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Primitive Weapons went on tour with Quicksand once, and Dillinger Escape Plan once, and stuff like that. When you're like, well, these guys think I can share the stage with them, and I grew up listening to that. It's kind of insane. It's like, wow, okay, I feel pretty good about this.
Says say something in Spanish. I'm too shy. My Spanish is bad.
Yeah, well, my Spanish isn't that great either, but podemos tratar si quieres.
I don't know. I'm too nervous, man. Can't embarrass my family like this.
It's all good, fam. I'll keep it. We'll keep it switched on to the gringo language. But yeah, I mean, doing that was pretty amazing, and I think that was just a brilliant show and a brilliant time. And obviously, Iron Age, total kings. And in fact, kind of the way that you play music and the way that you approach it with like all these different projects and different outlets and stuff, it's kind of like a lot of those guys in that band and stuff, whether it's Chris or,
exactly. I mean,
Jason with Eternal Champion as well, put out a great new record as well.
Like seeing Chris Olsh growing up, like when I was growing up and seeing Chris, he was one that kind of showed me that I was like, oh, it is possible to be in all these bands and have them all be good. So it's pretty sick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Impalers, Mammoth Grinder, Iron Age, Power Trip. I mean, the guy's like a music collection by himself.
Yeah,
so
man. I fucking love him.
That's pretty incredible in that way. I want to go and kind of flip it back to Narrowhead, because I've been asking people this question, and obviously your new record came out during COVID and stuff like that. What was it like to just kind of feel that, right? To have 12th House Rock be put out and like you kind of can't tour on it, you can't do as much as maybe you'd like to, but did you feel kind of relieved to finally have this thing that you recorded so long ago just like out in the world anyway? Like,
it is kind of a drag. We can't tour, play shows to support this, but to me, it just feels like a breath of fresh air. Like, I've been sitting on this record for so long. I'm just glad people get to hear it and know that we're a band. I mean, I'm glad. It feels good. Like, but it's just like things like that don't matter right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm grateful that people like our music and fuck with it, but like that doesn't matter right now. But thank you for everyone who likes it. But the last thing you need to be doing is worrying about we got new records coming out, But thanks for liking it. I don't know. It's just like it feels cool. Like I'm glad we got some attention for it, and I love all the feedback. But this year just sucks so bad anyway that it just feels like something I did kind of behind me already, and I go crazy if I can't play shows or anything. So it kind of just feels like this record is getting there now.
Yeah, it's kind of like it is strange, I mean, from my point of view as well, right? Like, I book Saint Vitus, and I'm always looking for bands that I think are like taking a step or doing cool things, and Gulch, Narrowhead, so many cool bands have put out these really like great records that I think we continue to kind of step them up. But I hope that, you know, just people at home are just listening to music while we're all sort of apart, and we can kind of, you know, I don't know, you know, run that fucking shit back or something, because, you know, this is a great record and it deserves to be heard by as many people as possible. But I think that what you said was really cool, though. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in the world, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, who cares what Narrowhead do? Like, go fucking donate to some shit. But thanks for buying the record. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I think that that's really true, though, because I think, you know, I've talked to plenty of artists on this show and, you know, friends of mine and stuff like that who are like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It happened, you know, we'll figure it out later. But, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of other shit going on that's, like, super important. My head's in a completely different place, right?
Exactly. It's so weird. But don't get me wrong, though. I am happy it's out. And I'm glad people are fucking with it. I'm glad. I don't know. I'm happy it's off my chest.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like sometimes putting out a record, too, is not just a sense of, like, accomplishment, but, like, in a sense of, like, relief. Like, okay, I got that.
It was a good time of my life, too. And I was just, like, trying to express things in a way, I guess. So it seems like whenever we nailed whenever we finally got this record out, it feels like that time in my life I can finally, like, shut the door or something, or shut the book, or whatever analogy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're right, depending on, you know, obviously the content stuff and the stuff that you're writing about, it's like those things can be difficult that you're working through in songs for all of us to relate to. You know, that's like the great thing about art in general, is being able to kind of communicate those things and let it out. But it's not always easy.
Yeah, it feels good, I guess.
Yeah. How does it feel now that, I mean, you guys are just kind of working in the shadows and doing stuff like that? Has it been pretty easy to just kind of get together and do stuff like that? Because you're all, I guess, from the same area, right?
Yeah, our third guitar player is from Bloomington. He moved to Houston. I live with him now. I have him inside. Maybe I'll go get him and say what's up in a second.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, we chill every day. We go to the practice space. We feel bored. So we're doing shit. We have a music video that'll be coming out soon for Hard to Swallow. I don't think that's been announced or anything, so I'm just announcing it now.
Boom. World premiere, baby. Boom,
yeah,
boom,
so
boom,
that'll
boom.
come out soon. And I don't know, we plan to do more like live session stuff, some videos like that.
Yeah, because you guys just did one, right? That was like a benefit and stuff like that. And I saw it, and it sounded great.
Yeah, so we're going to do some more of that. Some more videos. Just try to keep it, sucks to say, but try to produce content.
Yeah, just to kind of do stuff. Yeah, and, you know, I think that in a way, it's like, yeah, the fucking shit version of it is like doing that. But in one other way, it's like, let's try and be as creative as we can while we're forced to sort of be in this situation, right? And you might as well try and embrace it, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Narrowhead can be the type of band that can pull that off. Do some live shit, live sessions. I don't know. I think that could work.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I do miss the energy of a live show, but the next best thing, I guess, have people comment on it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really the thing about music that makes it so much different than any other art, is that it's like you can experience it really like in real time. Like a movie, you make the movie, it comes out. You paint, and it happens.
Yeah.
This is something that is in real time, and that's what makes, I think, music that special, because it has that gathering, that unpredictability to it. So it does take something away, but at the same time, at least it gives people an idea, a sense. And there's a lot of people that don't know yet, right?
Yeah,
that you try to get to.
That's true.
You know, so there's shit like that. Has your as far as, like, you know, not in band stuff, but like, have you had anything else sort of like affected for you as far as work or other things like that? Like in Houston, have you guys been pretty chill in that sort of respect?
Like you mean like with my like my actual life, like not just music?
Yeah.
No, man. Like I had like so when 2020 started, I was under the impression that Narrowhead was going to tour super hard. I thought we were just going to be gone, you know.
Yeah.
But then once the pandemic came through, I didn't all those ideas were gone, and I had a job, but then it would been out of they couldn't afford me there, so I just didn't have a job for the last couple, and I was just writing music. It's pretty much that, man. Like just keeping myself, seeing a couple friends, and now I just moved into a new house like 2 weeks ago, so things are kind of looking up a little bit. But other than that, man, it's been a dead, boring, shitty year. Nothing good.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I definitely agree, man. It feels really weird to walk into St. Vitus and just be like, it looks like a time capsule. It looks like it did in March, you know, like nothing's new, no one's in it. It's really it's really bizarre, and obviously we can all empathize with that. We are gonna actually be running out of time here in a couple minutes, so. Before that, I just want to say thanks for joining us and everything like that, man. I appreciate you taking the time and everything like that. Besides any Narrowhead Scourge stuff, Cespa, is there any stuff that you're working on that besides this that might be coming out or anything else, or have you been focused on new Narrowhead stuff mostly?
I don't know. I have a lot of songs that I wrote that Narrowhead songs, so I wouldn't call it a solo project, but maybe soon I'll be dropping some songs for myself.
That's great.
I recorded this heavy hardcore demo, kind of a joke, but it sounds good, so we might drop it. It's just like a 2-song thing. Other than that, man, not really. We're just chilling.
That's great, man. And you know what? I think that we don't know each other well at all. We've met maybe once in passing, but I appreciate the energy, and I love that you're still just kind of grinding and working on your craft, and doing stuff. And that's the way it's always just got to be, no matter what's kind of going on. And I really appreciate the record. The record is really fucking good. Anybody watching this, go get that shit. Support Narrowhead. They're a fucking class band.
Go get that.
Jacob, thanks so much for joining us, man. You're the shit.
Thank you for talking to me, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, hell yeah. Take care of yourself, bud.
Love y'all. Bye.
Peace.